You've probably heard of the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. A lot of NFL players will tell you it's about the biggest honor they can get. It celebrates the work that happens off the field. This year, the Bills announced that tackle Dion Dawkins is the nominee. And a video that the Bills released today, narrated by two-time nominee Eric Wood, explains one of the big reasons for picking Dawkins.
After the dust settled from a devastating mass shooting in East Buffalo, Bills players stepped in to join their neighbors and help the city recover. And in the months that followed, as neighbors grieved and the community responded, perhaps no Bills player stepped up quite like Dion Dawkins. From raising tens of thousands of dollars for the 514 Survivors Fund to hosting teacher appreciation events in East Buffalo, in addition to providing supplies and meals across the area, Dion's impact in underserved communities continues to be felt.
Joining us live right now to discuss is Reverend Mark Blue, president of the Buffalo chapter of the NAACP and one of the co-chairs of the 514 Survivors Fund that you heard mentioned there. Reverend Blue, it's always great to have you on the show. I know that you worked very closely dealing with so much of the aftermath of the mass shooting that happened here. And you know, raising money was a very important part of that. It showed how this community kind of, in one way, wrapped its arms around those who were impacted. Talk about how Dion Dawkins and others, but especially Dion, helped so much as the community was healing.
Well, one of the things that happens is that in a tragedy such as the one that we've had, we need to instill hope back into our community. And he, using his platform, has instilled that hope, has rejuvenated a lot of energy in our community. People were very excited to see him and the work that he was doing. And it was very key in the area of trying to restore our community back to some wholeness, some resemblance of wholeness again. So he and other athletes of this caliber, I mean, the work that they do off the field, on the field, he's a beast, he's a monster, he's a professional, but off the field, you really see the humanity in which he portrays and really helps the community in his selfless act of giving of himself and making sure that individuals can help achieve their goals in such a tragedy as we experience. So he's been a stellar human being, a stellar athlete, and one that to be admired and worthy of the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award.
And there are so many groups that Dion Dawkins is a part of that we run out of time just listing them because it seems like all the time he's involved in stuff. In fact, there's an event tonight that we're going to be covering that he's at I think it's down in Hamburg, giving back to the community once again. And it obviously, Reverend, goes beyond. I mean, he talked about there in the video, you know, helping to raise money for this fund. But just the impact that you see in the community all the time, especially in the off season, it'd be very easy for a lot of these guys to just, you know, go off to Miami or California or wherever they might live. But that's not what happens so often.
But he makes a difference, and you have athletes like that who make a difference, and that's what the whole organization is about. But it's more of him as a human being. Even in that clip, he said that could have been my father, and that's one of the most important pieces, that we are there. We could have been just as easily a victim of this tragedy. And in fact, we are in a sense, but he made it more personal. And that's the type of individual he is. And that's why, again, he's deserving of the Man of the Year Award.
Yeah, we're all going to be rooting for him. Reverend, I've only got about 30 seconds left, but I just, you know, we thought today, when you look kind of at the national level, it seems like so many negative things get reported about NFL players off the field. How important is it for us as the public to recognize these good acts?
It's very important. It takes the myth out of athletic players. They do a lot of great work, and sometimes, again, the wrong and the individuals who make mistakes are the ones that highlight it. But this is one that definitely needs to be shouted from the rooftops of the great work in which he's doing, especially in our community. So it's very important that we vote, that we definitely investigate and to bring to light the good areas and aspects of these athletes, as well as those who try to just portray the negativity of these athletes. So, I mean, he's doing a stellar job. And although he's a little hurt right now, he's still, once he gets back on that field, he's Buffalo true and true.
It is great to get your perspective on it, Reverend Blue. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.